And today we have a special guest, Jenny Pippin. She is the owner and founder of Pippin Home Design, and she has been in and around the area for many years. I know this because I have a lot of friends that have used her, and for some reason, Jenny, you and I have never actually met. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me this morning.
So I know, I'm going to say at least 6 people that you have designed their homes for them.
Awesome.
I'm comfortable saying if you've seen a really nice new home in the last 7 to 10 years in the area, I'm pretty sure Jenny had something to do with the design of it. Talk a little bit about what it is Pippin Home Design actually does.
Okay, so we have a residential design firm. We don't do anything commercial. We design new houses, and we also renovate existing homes, and that's been a huge part of our business over the last 33 years we've been in the area. So we help people, go from minimum ideas to a full-blown finished product. So we love working with all kinds of different clients. That's what keeps it interesting for us. We're not stuck doing the same thing all the time.
And when I went to your website, and I really encourage people to go to your website,
yes.
It's just super cool. You can tell that you have fun starting over with every new client, every new home. You can tell it's like this fresh start, and you're trying to create the personality of your client in each one of these homes. Like it's obvious to me when I look at this.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you can tell that. We not only incorporate what the client wants, but we also incorporate what the land is telling us as well. When I walk the lot with a client, that lot tells me what it wants.
The land is speaking to you, you say?
That's right. Yes, it does. It sure does.
So how long have you been doing this? Like a while?
34 years.
You don't look
That's a
that
while.
old. You just
No, you don't.
No,
Thank you.
No.
Thank you. I started when I was 3. No, kidding.
So let's. You don't have to go back to 1962, right? But give me a little bit of your background, because did you just wake up one day and decide I want to be an architect? How does that happen?
Well, no, I actually didn't. I started out to be an artist.
Oh.
I thought I was going to be drawing, all kinds of different things.
Right.
But decided at some point that architecture was really interesting to me, and decided to take a few classes in it and fell in love with it.
Cool.
And found out how easy it was for me. I said, well, this must be what I'm supposed to do.
Easy.
Yeah, it was very easy.
That's a surprising statement.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a brother with a master's degree from architecture from Columbia.
The same one you took on a romantic dinner last night?
No. No. I know what he went through, and it is not an easy task. There's a lot of challenges that people have no idea go into designing a home.
Well, that's very true. And when I got started 30 plus years ago, it wasn't easy for a woman to get started in it, But it has been a really fun thing for me to be doing over these years, because I've been able to really express my creativity and expand, what clients want in terms of their creativity, and we just make it work.
Right. So how do you do that? How do you find what I need in a home? Because a lot of times I don't know.
That's right. Yeah. And a lot of my clients have told me that I knew what they wanted better than they did.
That doesn't surprise me. But tell me how you do that, right? How does that work?
Well, when I first meet with a client, they are telling me what it is that they have in mind and what their goals are. And as they're describing that, I'm taking copious notes. But also, I'm starting to envision that house in my head already. I'm looking at their survey, or we're looking at the land on Google Earth.
Right.
And then I'm just starting to envision how can we achieve the goals that they want and the view, because that is our specialty, is designing for a view.
Oh.
So most of our projects are lakefront or mountainside.
Yes.
So you're really wanting to maximize every room in that house to achieve that view if possible.
Right.
So I'm looking at how the lay of the land is, what the path of the sun is, because we work with that too. We don't want people to be on the lake, having a west-facing view, not having taking that into consideration. They're closing their blinds at the end of the day and losing the view they've just
I
paid
wish
for.
you'd have designed my home, because that is my problem.
Yeah, riding around on the boat, you see that all the time.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, and it's really sad that the designer didn't take that into consideration. So we feel like that's really important. So all of those things are incorporated. And also, back in 2006 and 7, I pioneered in this area the green building concept. And we built a green home on the lake and opened it up for tours to thousands of people came through our home in about a 5-year period of time.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Describe that when you say green home. I really don't know what you mean by that.
Well,
Should I? I mean, you women looking at me like, how could you not? I have no idea what you mean by that.
Well, we don't really call it green building anymore. It's really a high performance home, and it includes a number of things. Excuse me. Is it energy efficient? Did we add solar power? Are we doing water reclamation? What's the insulation? Do you use Energy Star windows and Energy Star appliances? Also, is it accessible? Universal design is really important. And when I was starting early in my career in 1986, I was in a bad car accident. I broke my back.
Ooh.
I was living in a home that couldn't accommodate somebody with a physical challenge. So I learned early on.
That would
it
be
does-
miserable.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was only 26 years old, so you don't know when you might need a home that's
Right.
can
a good
accommodate
point.
somebody with a physical challenge. So we always incorporate those features into our homes automatically, even if a client doesn't even think about it. We do the wider halls and the wider doors on the first floor. If it's a multi-level house, we'll design in closets that stack one another with a knockout floor, so you can
gonna
have
have an elevator.
in the future if you don't need it now, or if you don't need it ever and you resell the house. It's a really good resale tool.
It is a very good resale tool.
We also, if
I
you've
would
got,
not even have thought that until she said that.
yeah, you
Yes.
want
Okay.
you want a bathroom on the first floor that's accessible, for a walker or a wheelchair, and you want to be able to get people into your house without having an obvious ramp outside. So we designed those garages to be a little bit deeper so you can put the ramp inside. Now the ramp is
Smart.
is covered out of the weather. It's safe, and it doesn't give the whole world, the idea that there's somebody handicapped in that house.
Right. See, Jessica, now you see why I say if it's a spectacular home, that Jenny probably designed it.
Right, exactly. Well, and during the break, she mentioned that she has 70 prospects that have reached out here recently, and she is book solid, and now I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question. Is it, I'm going to use the word easier, I don't know if that's the right word to use or not, okay, to redesign my home to fit my new life? Because obviously, I'm getting older now, right? And stay where I am, because Jessica's not going to be able to find me the home that I
me a
can
little
afford
credit.
to move, right? I said afford, not that you couldn't find it, right? Or do I find me some property and have you build me something? What are the challenges between the two? And is one a little bit easier than the other?
Well, I mean, you can.
Did I ask that question right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What I'm finding right now, and I'm telling clients this, because it's become much more expensive to build, you can actually buy an existing home and get more square footage for your money than you could build a brand new house for that same dollar.
I say the same thing.
Absolutely, because you're having to go much smaller in your square footage to get that, keeping your budget goal.
Right.
So if you're going to stay in your home and remodel, we can certainly do that. What we would need in order.
Is that challenging to do?
It can be, depending on, number one, your budget goal. Number two, do you need to add on to make that happen? And do you have space on your lot to make that happen? So we'd need to have a survey, and we need to know, most of our clients have on-site well and septic. So we need to know, where is that existing septic field? Where is that well? And can, if a lot of houses don't have a first floor bedroom, so we're putting a first floor master, can we add that extra bedroom? And does that impact the septic? Can we add on to the septic? Do we have to move the septic? And then that increases budget if we're having to do that as well.
Right. And can you even add to the septic? That's one that I've run into before, is you have a 3-bedroom septic permit and you want to expand and have another bedroom, but there's no room to add that additional septic line.
That's right. And a lot of times we'll work with soil scientists too, to bring them in to say, what can we do with this existing system to make it work? And sometimes they have to eliminate one of their existing bedrooms to be able to add that other bedroom.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
You know, my brother's an architect, and so he and I have had this discussion. What's more important, a really good design or really good implementation of that design, the craftsman of that design?
Well, that is tough.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
My brother and I have had that discussion many, many times.
Well, I think if you have a really good design that is designed to function for you now and well into the future, that's probably also a good functioning design.
So one of the things that I know from friends that have had homes built, it seems to take forever.
It does.
What is the time frame that I come to talk to you about building a home on this wonderful piece of lot that Jessica found for me? How long is that going to take to build?
The construction piece itself is probably running about 10 to 12 months. And a lot of that is because we have a shortage in our labor.
Materials.
Right.
Yeah, and materials.
Yes, labor, but you're right, though, it's even
Yeah.
worse.
Well, and that also increases the price of my new home because I'm sitting on a lot that I'm paying for, and also I'm continuing to pay for all of the expenses as we're building this home as well.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, and if you got a mortgage on this and a construction loan, then you're paying the interest on all of that.
Correct.
Exactly. And we have,
You hear what she just said?
Exactly.
Sorry, Jenny, that's just something I do. So
I love it.
Okay, so let's go to I'm sitting in a home and I'm considering renovating that home. Walk me through the process of that. What does that look like? Because that seems kind of challenging to me, because not only can you now figure out what I want, now I got to figure out how to make it work and function inside existing facts.
Walls.
Yeah, that are there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, what we do is walk the house with the client initially, talk about what they want to accomplish, and I see what the house is, how the house is laid out. But then we have to create an as-built plan, which is a plan of what's existing now. So we need an existing floor plan and elevations, because that is our guide then for what we can do with the renovation and addition. And if we don't have an as-built, we can't start the design.
Right.
So we spend time out there site measuring, my husband and I, or we have another company that comes out with their laser, a 3D laser scanner.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we're setting that up for this week. We've got 3 houses to do site measures on, and we are so busy, we just have to bring in some additional help. But once you have that as-built, then you have the basis for starting the design phase. And so what we'll do is take that whole list of the scope of the project, everything you want to accomplish, and we'll give you different options of how that can be achieved.
Can I live in the home while this is happening, or are you going to pack me up and move me someplace?
It depends on the renovation that you're doing. If you can, if it's mostly an addition, you can probably stay in the house. If it's a big renovation, it's really better if you get out of the house, because the construction process will go much faster if you're not in there in the way of the builder.
Yeah, I remember the movie Money Pit, and I couldn't imagine being in a home that needed to be renovated and construction people walking around while I'm trying to be there.
Right.
No.
Right. It makes it much more challenging. I mean, builders do it, but it's not their favorite thing to do.
Right. I can imagine. Okay. Now you just touched on something that's kind of interesting. I didn't realize this. So this is a family business. Your husband works with you on this.
Yes, he does.
Talk about that, because I'm positive my wife could not work with me. How do you and your husband get along with this?
Oh, well, actually, we met 16 and a half years ago and really wanted to find a way that we could work together. We just love being together. But he was in a completely different field. He actually worked here in Statesville at Iredell Memorial Hospital. He supervised the MRI department there for, years. 28 years he was in the medical field. And at some point, I convinced him to leave the hospital. He really wanted to go into photography full time, so he was doing that for a while, and then saw that I had a need in the office for CAD help. So he decided to teach himself how to do CAD. So he's been doing that now for about 5.5 years, and we just love it. Because now we get to have the 3D in-house, and I think it makes our designs even that much better.
Well, and the client can sit there with both of you, and he can change that right on the spot.
That's
and
right.
Tell me what that looks like.
Yeah.
Let's take a break, and we'll come back.
Okay.
And we are back. You are listening to WSIC. I am Joe Vagnone, and I'm here with Jessica Babington, the managing broker of Trump International Real Estate, and also with the founder and head designer at Pippin Home Design, Jenny Pippin. Jenny, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay, here's my question for you.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I told you my brother's an architect. He doesn't do it anymore, you know. But there's one thing I knew. If he designed something, I could drive down the street and say, my brother did that. Like, there's certain things I knew he liked, lighting and that sort of stuff. Do you have some of those things?
Like a signature?
Yeah, because when I looked at your website, I saw the personality of the owners. I didn't see you like a stamp of you in there, but I find that hard to believe.
Well, for me, it's not about me. It's about the client and what they want. And that's what keeps it fresh and interesting for me, because I'm not doing the same thing over and over.
Right.
I don't want it to stand out and say, oh, Jenny Pippin did that.
Right.
Other than, wow, that's a really awesome house. It must have been a Pippin home.
Right.
You know?
That's great.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, and that's interesting because that's kind of what I could tell by going to your website. And again, I urge people to go to your website. Tell them how they can reach you.
Yes, you can get me at pippinhomedesigns.com, and that's pippinhomedesigns.com. You can also find me on House. You'll see a lot of our projects on House. I think we have 49 projects, something like that, that people can go through and see lots of photos. We're putting on some videos now as well.
Yeah, listen, I know everybody thinks I exaggerate. Okay, but I'm telling you, if you are in any kind of a neighborhood in and around the lake, I am positive Jenny Pippin has designed at least one of the homes on your street. I'm comfortable saying that.
Yeah, and I'm very, very
Been around the block.
very knowledgeable of the lake area. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you wouldn't say you have your signature style is actually relating to the client that you have.
The client and their property. Yeah, because we want the house to look like it belongs at that site.
Right. And I think probably the style I would give you is, and you said this at the beginning of the show, it's about the view.
Yes.
The homes have a lot of
Maximizing the view.
windows or angles to make sure that they're positioned well to capture whatever that view is that you're after.
Yes, and a lot of outdoor living space, because being on the lake is all about being outside and enjoying that lake view.
And you were ahead of the game on that. In other words, I go back and I can see some of your homes. I know that on my street, right, 4 or 5 of them, and the backyards are as super cool as the home itself, right? And so you've been doing this for years, mainly because most of your clients are sort of lake or mountain clients, so they want to be outside in some capacity.
That's right. That's their main focus. You know, having a family environment where they can entertain outside is big.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about the timing of this, because you ladies have just made it very clear to me. If I'm going to renovate my home or I'm going to buy a new home, it's 12 months easy.
Patience,
Yes.
Joe. Patience.
Oh, that's such a painful word.
Well, and that's 12 months to construct, but that doesn't include the time to design it.
Right.
And-
Then that's what I want to talk about. Walk me through what that looks like, sort of
So-
the timing of that, so I kind of know what to expect.
At the beginning of the year, I would tell a client it takes maybe 3 to 4 months to go through the entire process of creating a design and doing the construction drawings and then the engineering. And with the design piece being the longest part of that, because of going back and forth and tweaking
Right.
with the client. And now it's more like 6 months or more because of the backlog that we now have. And so if somebody calls today and says, can you meet me this week? It's like, no, I can't even meet you next month.
Right.
Right. We have a very big backlog, and grateful for it right now.
Right.
But people just have to have patience.
So let's talk briefly about all of these tract homes that I'm seeing. Do you get involved with any of these larger builders to give them some advice, or do they come to a skilled person like you and ask for help in any area at all?
I have had that in the past, but the majority of what we do is strictly custom.
Because you kind of don't like that, right? You don't want your design duplicated 10 times over again on the street, right?
Right, and nor do our clients. You know, a
That's a
lot
good
of our
point.
clients are like, I don't want to see my house down the road. You know,
Right.
Yeah, we want something very unique and that's why they come to us. A lot of people come to us because they've got a very challenging building envelope, and we work with a lot of those, and we're very creative with that. I'm actually the only designer, and then I have a staff of people who implement my designs in terms of creating construction drawings.
Right. So I know me, right? Like literally, I have it. You're going to laugh at me, I think. I've got a folder of pictures of magazine things that I like, and I want to be able to hand it to somebody like you. Is that like a bad thing to do?
No, we love it.
Oh,
we love
okay.
It. Yeah.
We're not laughing.
So keep my file, right?
Yeah,
so I can
keep
say,
your file.
Okay.
Yes, we have a lot of clients that come to us with either a file or a Pinterest page or a house idea book or all of that.
Okay, so I'm not uncommon in that regard.
Not
okay.
at all.
Okay, yeah.
No,
if I see something in one of these magazines, I'd like to clip that out and say, boy, I would like something like that. So you can capture what I'm thinking through this magazine.
Yes, those inspirational pictures do help, to guide the project.
So, okay, so I'm on track here. So people thinking about this should start a file of things that they like.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep, that definitely helps. And we encourage people to, use Pinterest, use House, use the magazines. I've had people show up with boxes and boxes of that stuff.
Jenny, we've only got a minute left. What advice would you give a brand new architect getting ready to get started in the industry? And again, we've only got about a minute.
Network. It's really important to get out and network with your community because that is a really good resource for bringing in clients.
Great. And one more time, your website for people that want to talk to you.
PippinHomeDesigns.com, and that's PippinHomeDesigns.com.
Thank you, Jenny. You are talking with Pippin Home Design founder Jenny Pippin. Jenny, thank you so much. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. If it's Friday morning, your business matters.